Guys, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by again. Today we're going to talk about the next big deal in watches. What's the next big deal? I wish I would know. I bet you want to know. And if we all knew what the next big deal was going to be 20 years ago, we'd be filthy rich right now. We would have hit it big time. So the next big deal in watches, it's going to be something you and I don't even imagine. We like to talk about, or I especially like to talk about, when I was growing up in the business, what the mindset of the watch collectors back then was. You know, how they never cared about Rolex. They never cared about nothing. Wristwatch. Their mentality was that anything famous, it's going to be in the pocket watch for them. Anything that's going to be worthwhile 20 or 30 years, from 20 or 30 years back, it was going to be in the pocket watches. They didn't fathom the idea of a wristwatch having the fame or having the prestige that a pocket watch made in the 1800s, 1500s, 1600s. You know, so they didn't fathom the idea that something so new was going to become collectible. I used to see these jeweler guys. Back when I was growing up, all of these guys, they were not watch collectors. They were just they were just jewelers. They would buy and sell anything and everything: coins, watches, gold, diamonds, everything. I don't think there was such a thing as an exclusivity to say they were a watch collector back then. You know, jewelry stores, they would have to do a little bit of everything to survive. You know, it wasn't like it is today, where if you open just a watch shop, you could make a living just opening a watch shop. But back then, you had to do a little bit of everything. I mean, there was no internet, there was no social media. It was just you on some place, downtown Chicago, downtown Australia, downtown London, wherever you live, you know, or in the outskirts of the city, trying to make a living selling what you had. So a total different ballpark or ball game than what it is today. What's going to be the future collectibles? That's the question. You know, it's very hard for me to even, try to speculate what is going to be the future of the watch market. What is going to be what our kids like? You know, is it going to be what we hate the most? Is it going to be the iWatches? Is it going to be smart watches? Is that the future of watch collectors? Looking back, these old guys, they didn't like Rolex, and now Rolex is the thing to collect. So wristwatches, they would love Illinois, Hamilton, and Gruen, and Bubbleback Rolex. Those were the watches to collect. Hard to have to look into the future to see what our kids, the generation that is coming up right now. I mean, a kid that is 5, 6 years old right now. What is he going to like when he's in his mid-20s? Is he even going to like watches? Is there even going to be such a thing as a watch collector? When that 8-year-old kid right now becomes a 25-year-old man? If we have to look of our kids, in this case probably my grandkids, for them to want watches, for them to lust after watches like we do, I'm not so sure it's going to be the same thing we collect. So we have to keep an open mind on what we collect. I know a lot of us hate on quartz. I know a lot of us, just think about mechanical watches, just think about Rolex, just think about certain high-end brands. A lot of these kids growing up right now, they might not even be into the name, the high fashion of things. They might be into the simplest things that we're overlooking right now. They might be into the time-only non-chronographs. I'll say that for me because I like to collect mainly chronographs. They might be into the things that I look at right now and just say, you know, these are terrible pieces. Can you imagine a world where the high-end watches are going to be the movement watches, the undone watches? Could you imagine a wristwatch world where the Samsung Galaxy S305, I don't know, whatever, that is the watch to collect, that would be the watch to compete like with a Patek Philippe Nautilus? Could you imagine that world? You know, it's not a world I want to be in as a watch collector, but we have to keep our eyes open and our minds very, very open to the future, because if a lot of us are not just collecting watches, a lot of us are investing in watches, which is a terrible investment, a lot of people say, and I'm pretty sure it is. But a lot of us, when we try to get out of these watches, will we be able to get out of these watches when a lot of the collectors are no longer with us and we have to deal with new generations? That's what we got to look out for in the future, guys. Guys, tell me what you think. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you like this video, thumbs up, subscribe, notifications. You know what to do. Guys, thank you so much. See you in the next one.